When it starts droning, I'll drop.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay, okay. So we're recording now. So
Oh,
so today's episode, dumb shit that happened in school. Cause I need content. Part one, I guess. We'll make this part one. Cause there's always dumb stories for school. So I guess we start off with YB.
Yes, hello.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what
So
happened?
this is the story of how JPEX almost got arrested for possessing drugs
Wait, almost
at a
arrested.
hospital.
Arrested.
No, to make it
alright.
sound more interesting, but to make it sound more
Okay.
interesting.
Okay.
Of
Okay.
course.
So
Okay.
Of
at
course.
school we had an activity in biology where we had to bring like certain herbs to class,
Okay.
or like it was an activity about the senses, I believe. So it was something like smelling different herbs and stuff. Plus I forgot.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I had to bring oregano, and I brought like dried oregano, which came in like a small plastic bag. And
Oregano.
me and JPEX, yes, suppose me and JPEX were groups. So after the activity, I had no idea what to do with my oregano anymore. So I gave it to him. It was like a small, yes, in a small plastic bag filled with dried crushed leaves, diba? So
Yeah.
he
Okay.
put it in
Okay.
his bag. Then later in the afternoon, he had to go to the hospital because that's where his parents were.
Okay.
So he was gonna get something from his bag, and the tiny packet of oregano fell out of his bag, and he was in front of like a security guard. So he had to explain to the security guard that he wasn't carrying around weed in the hospital. And the end.
Imagine if the police guard like actually like took it apart, like started
Yeah,
analyzing it.
yeah,
He's like, hmm.
yeah. The fight
What
of
is the
his life, bro.
CDC?
He like smelled it a little bit, and he's just like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, kid. That smells a little bit like weed. If you know what I'm saying.
How do you know what
So
weed smells like?
just like I was a teenager once. I'll let you go. Just smooth talking 100. Smooth talking
Bruh.
100. That'll be fucking great. Though. Oh my gosh.
Not
Put
carrying
that one.
diffuser. Sige.
Did come on, guys.
Okay, Christian,
Arthur.
Who's
you.
third?
No, I thought you wanted to be in the middle.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought you wanted to be in
right.
the middle.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, like, I chose the story of, like, how I was able to successfully defend pedophilia in a classroom debate. So to set the stage, it was grade 10. It was our English assignment that we had to prepare argumentative speeches, essentially. And our teacher gave us 6 options for topics, which went 0 to 100, 0 to 60 real fast. Because the first 4 were about, like, okay, we should extend the allowed time for students to be late. And the next one was like, oh, classes should start at 8 instead of 7. And then another one was, oh yeah, we should give students like more hours for lunch. And then all of a sudden it just goes, should pedophilia be a part of the LGBTQ community? And I was just, okay. And right after that, the next topic was, should we tolerate extrajudicial killings? And I just went, yes, school, right? That is totally related to school. But yeah, so me being the cocky asshole I usually am, I decided to go with the pedophilia topic. So in our class, there people actually ended up choosing the pedophilia topic against. For the argumentative speech, you could choose whether you wanted to be against or for the topic, you wanted to agree with it or not. I was one of the few people in our entire class that no, I was the only person in our entire class that agreed with it. Now that I remember properly. I was the only motherfucker in class that was actually
Yes, you
tried
were.
at least to defend pedophilia. There were 2 people who came before me who were able to present their positions before me that were against it. They were against it, and they always fell back to the same argument: the idea that it's just wrong. Liking children, that's just wrong. That's really the only counter argument they tried to post for the entire time. And then taking that, I did my best just to spike because like I knew first I part of me just knew that I was the only one trying to defend it. So I really had to stand out to be able to get a good grade on this, because otherwise my teacher would have just sided with everyone else, and I would have just looked like a fool. So my first counter argument was the idea that I defined the LGBTQ community first, because that was the topic. Should pedophiles be allowed in that community? Should they be categorized in that community? And then I said, well, you see, the LGBTQ, they came together because they feel ostracized, or they feel like there's no other place for them, you know? Like, not really that. That's the best way to say this.
Yo, Arthur, you're gonna get so much flack in the
Uh,
LGBT community.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, it's like the idea that these people are striving to allow more people. Nah, the LGBT community, like they want to be more accepted, you know, like more normalized and shit. And then defining them like each person there, like they're in their situation because they can't change the way they feel about a certain gender. Like there are those people who are only attracted to the same gender as them. There are those people who are attracted to more than one gender. There are those people who identify as a different gender that is non-binary. And they're like this because they can't change anything about it. You know, like it's part of their sexuality, it's part of their identity, it's part of their human being. And I made the argument that pedophiles are a lot like this. They can't change what they like. They can't change what their brain is telling them to like, what their brain wants them to like, you know? Like you can't just tell a gay man to suddenly go straight. You can't like look. What if I want to go? What if I wanted to go suck Christian's dick? Okay, like would you ostracize me for
Hey,
that?
uh,
Yeah, okay,
I,
Christian. Yeah, I don't give you the chance to reply. Shut the fuck up. And then, like another example I made was like, what if our teacher wanted to have a sexual relationship with one of our classmates who also just so happens to be younger and is also a girl? Like, like that was hella controversial when I said it. Sure, but fuck all. And I was able to use that to. I use that to segue into like the idea of relationships and shit. Because people would ask like, sure, you can say that like you can't change it, but how would the kids be? Like would the children be allowed to have sexual relations as well with these people? And then the order that I presented was the idea that it would really be up to the parents, like it is in any child's like situations. Like the parents are usually the deciding vote. Like it would be up to the parents to be able to raise their children to be responsible and disciplined enough that they wouldn't like enter these relationships with people that they can't trust, especially at such a young age. It's up to the parents to be able to raise their children to be able to make proper decisions for themselves, you know? And that was the argument there. Like even I myself, I was 17 years old at the time. No, I was 16 years old at the time. And I myself was not allowed to get into a relationship with anyone. And that was because of the way my parents raised me. That was the way my parents told me that I should be. Because there are priorities and such. And so I was able to make that counter argument. And like it was a very relatable argument in class. Because like there were other people who were also in that situation. Like they weren't allowed to get into relationships themselves because of certain disciplines that their parents gave them. And I was glad enough that like after that I noticed a change in the way my teacher started giving her own rebuttals. I'm pretty sure that I was able to convince my teacher to side with pedophilia on this one. Which is probably the best part. Like the people before me, their questions were easy as hell. It's like, oh yeah, where would you get this evidence? Or like, how would you? Is this normalized? Blah blah blah. And like, once I had given out all of my points and shit, my teacher started asking even more complicated questions to all my other classmates, and I'm pretty sure they all got lower grades just because I sent out these other points. So yeah, that's basically just the day that I was able to defend. Oh, did I mention I got a perfect score on that fucking oral recitation? I got a perfect score on it. It's just good times all around. So yeah, that's the story of how I myself was able to defend pedophilia. Christian, take it away. Give us a good story to close on.
dude, I don't know. Okay, like, what would be a good story to tell? I mean, like, how could you follow up after defending pedophile? You know,
I don't
I mean,
know.
I get
Give us something else.
something a bit more laid back. So we have this thing in our school where it's like a party. It's a rave, basically. You know,
Ah, okay, okay,
and
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Do you
the
think I can say the name? You think I can say the name? It doesn't
let's
matter,
just call
does
it
it?
like let's just call it like the
Party time. Party time. Yeah, essentially it's just like a rave. They hire some like DJs and stuff. They play EDM music, like just the normal rave, like just the normal stuff. So like everyone's gathering in the
I think we can just
middle,
call
and
it like the mid-year party or some shit like that. Because it always happens in the middle of the year.
yeah.
And it's like second
Oh
quarter, first
no, wait,
quarter.
wait. No, 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 no. A better story I think, Arthur, to say was the graduation party we had. Generally, just because you like in our school, we in our batch at the very least, we had like we the entire years we've had a split between like two sides of people, two kinds of people,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and those sides like never really touched together. They didn't really speak unless they had to speak, which is in a
Yeah, like a social
project or
divide.
group
Like a
form.
social divide, you
Yeah,
mean?
it was a social divide. Okay, so no one from our side was talking to the people on the other side and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
So the graduation party happened. Okay, we're all there. People start dancing, and then
For some reason, your mic just got shit.
suddenly, oh, fucking, is it better now?
Still weird.
Uh,
Sounds fine, man to me.
I don't know.
Okay, okay, better now, actually. Now.
Okay,
Keep
but
going.
then so then after not talking at all, or not even like basically, in a contacting way, after like a couple hours when the music starts going, they all just start dancing together. We all just start dancing together. So like suddenly like two groups that were dancing separately came together in the middle as like one giant thing.
Hmm.
And like they in those movies where there's like a crowd and then they have like a space in the middle where they all start
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
dancing.
yeah.
Yeah, so people just started going there. And then, for example, we have like Rob. Okay, Rob. He's so good at doing the Russian dance thing. Like
Yeah, the
I forget
Kozoitsky
what it's
cake
called.
or something.
The step dance or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
Something. Yeah. And he was so good at doing it, so he was like flaunting that off. And then everyone's like, "Hey, whoa, yeah!" And then like the popular kid people were just like they were grinding on each other and stuff. And then we were just like, "Yeah, whoa, amazing, it's great." And then it's just a mix. It was just it's a weird time where people came together ish, and you could call it less of a funny story and more of like a thing, but it was like a full gathering of like
Wait, no,
people.
no, it's a good anecdote you can play off of that.
Oh,
How
yeah.
our how our how our Monsignor AGL was able to get himself into a certain situation.
Who?
What do you think? What situation
Ah,
had
of course.
occurred?
Yes, of course, of course. Wait, was this in the party time?
Yeah,
Party
yeah,
time?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking. Are you gonna say it? Are you gonna tell
Obviously, we're
people?
not gonna say their name.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I think you can
Go
explain it well
ahead.
enough. I think you can explain it well enough.
Okay, okay. No, I mean, dude, I was one of the people who was carrying Monsignor. So in the party thing that I mentioned earlier, like the rave, it was like in our assembly area or general assembly
The
area. So there
gym.
was like a stage, yeah, the gym.
What would be a gym for most
So
Western schools? Yeah.
yeah, so like my perspective of it was that I was just sitting down with like our group of friends, and then we were like staying by the grass area, right? We were sitting down because it's a
Hmm.
nice night, and then we're all
Yeah.
just chilling. And then one of our friends runs from the crowd, right?
Yeah, from the rave. He
And
runs away from it.
then yeah, yeah,
Runs
yeah,
towards us, tired
yeah,
as fuck.
yeah, just and then he's like, okay, so Monsignor is gone, and he drank, and we're like, what? We're like, he's somewhere in there and he's drunk. And we're like, how the hell did he get drunk? It's like he got like beer and stuff from the outside, and then he started drinking it and stuff from the inside because they passed it through the gates. And they were like, what? And then we asked who was with him, and then they said nobody because we lost him, and we're like, You lost once in what? So it was just like a frantic thing to start looking for him
Exactly, we were in
before he
genuine
did
panic. We
anything.
didn't know where to start either.
Yeah.
Was he in the actual
Yeah, we
Raven
did
shit?
not know where he was. Yeah. So we started looking for the guy, right?
Yeah, and we had
And
friends who were
then
in the rave who like loved doing it, and like
yeah,
they would have been like the first people to
yeah,
ask, but we couldn't find them either.
yeah. No, and then the other part is was that the time where like water bottles were was being filled with like glow stick juice?
Yeah, that
And
was
then they
so
like separate.
bullshit. That was
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
bullshit.
So there was like a water bottle incident where like they filled it with the glow stick juice thing.
Yeah, and it
So
got
it's
in
like
someone's
really
eyes.
toxic and you could die. You could die.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it got in
someone
people's
passed out.
eyes.
Yeah, someone passed out and
No,
stuff. It
no,
was
no.
really
The
bad.
passing out was something else. That was something separate
Oh,
though.
okay. Dude, and there were just a lot of things that happened that night, you know? A lot of stupid things that happened last night. And then it was just we just didn't know what was happening. And then when we finally I had carry like from the fucking like the shoulder carry. Like two of us had to support him. And he was just drunk, okay? He smelled like alcohol. It just smelled really fucking bad.
Yeah, dude, it was just way too obvious, way too blatant.
Yeah, and we're like, we need to get him away from the teacher, etc. And then like, Jesus Christ.
Oh shit, dude. Like,
Dude, it was
and then we were never
it was
even
a
able to figure out who exactly brought the alcohol in.
yeah, that's true, that's true.
There's a rumor down. It was seventh graders, like the youngest of the high school. Like that just
Ah, of
got
course.
even more messed up. Like it was just a rumor though. You never really figured out,
Yeah.
but still.
That's still fucked. It's like Jesus, dude. I don't it was like we're like me personally, I don't like doing the party things because like it hurts my ears too much.
Yeah.
It just really kills me, right? So
That year.
we're
Wait,
all just
was that the
chilling
year when
out.
the DJ was actually good, or the one where it was the shittiest DJ?
No, oh yeah, wait, no, no, I think it was. I think it was. Last year was the one where it was really bad.
Yeah, yeah. Grade 10
I
one had the
think.
really shit DJ. Grade 9 had the one that everyone was friends with, right? People actually knew that guy.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Good shit. Ah, shit. That was fun times. Which one was the one where we tried to play frisbee, like under the stars?
The one we played frisbee. I think that was grade nine.
Grade
Grade
9, right?
nine.
Grade 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
No,
just
because grade
running
nine.
the fuck around.
No, wait. Now I'm a bit confused. Grade 10 was when we had like the flower 90 thing, like the old theme, right?
That was different. That was the grad bash. That was the grad bash.
Ah, what the? No, no, no. I mean, like, it was like we had to dress up sort of old. That's why Kika was wearing like a
Yeah,
flower thing, and
right.
I was wearing like a flower thing too. And we were
The
waiting by the
fuck
gate,
did
and
I
we're like,
wear?
"Hey, it's a flag!" Dude, I think you wore the pink. No, you didn't wear the pink thing. Oh, another great, dude. Another good story we have, like in grade 10. Like I found it great because whenever we had a thing for English, we would usually have to dress up
Yeah,
pretty
semi-formal. Yeah,
formally.
yeah,
Yeah, like semi-formal, but you know, I took it a
yeah.
little bit higher. You know what I'm
Yeah, and
saying?
you're always in like either
So
a tuxedo or a fucking suit or some shit.
I was in a three-piece suit
No,
every single
and no,
time.
and you're in like a slightly different one each time around.
No, but I did have my like my go-to blue one. Remember the one with like the
Yeah,
bow tie? And I wore the Converse, the blue Converse too, like the blue leather Converse, right? And
yeah.
it's the three-piece suit. But then another time I wore in like I had a tuxedo, like a proper tuxedo with the cummerbund and stuff, right? And then
Okay, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So well, I had that, right? I mixed it up because I could. Then we have like R2 and R2 every single time, every formal event thing we had. He came in with the most college looking ass fucking attire ever, okay? He had a a tie that did not fucking he did not wear properly most of the time. And like he wrapped it around his head one time. To go with
Yeah.
the look. To go with the look, right? Or to go with the look.
Yeah, I wrapped
And
a
then he
fucking
had
tire on my
a
forehead.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He had a signature, the signature, okay, everyone knows this. He had a signature pink polo shirt. A short sleeve pink polo shirt that he wore to literally everything.
Yeah, exactly. No, no.
Every
That's the thing.
formal.
No, I had a long sleeve one and a short sleeve one.
You never wore the long sleeve one.
No, that's the thing. I would roll up the sleeves.
I don't think I ever noticed that, to be fair. I don't think I ever noticed that, to be fair.
That was enough,
Uh,
like R2's attire every
yeah,
year.
that was Artu's
No,
attire every single time.
every time like we had to present something in English.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
We had like a no. Even remember you wore it in the Christmas party.
Oh yeah, Christmas party as well.
Yeah, and you're like, I expected more people to be coming in formal attire, but you people are just laid back and chill.
And then
Peasants.
like halfway through, I unbuttoned it and like to reveal my undershirt was Star Wars,
Yeah.
which then proceeded to make me the most laid back person in the room.
No, dude, it was great, dude. It was fucking great. Genuinely, man. Great Time was really fun. Still, man. It
I
was.
I just remembered I have one more story.
Let's go,
It might be
YB.
weird 'cause it's about me, pero it's like
Ay.
pretty funny.
Why? What
We had
happened?
to do a presentation then for English.
Yeah.
It was like uh we had to play as like one any character from Greek mythology.
Okay.
Tapos everyone did their thing, like may iba change pa ng costume with like a full presentation.
Hmm.
Like some people really put effort into their thing. And some people sang and did really good acting presentation.
Yeah.
Tapos when it came to my turn, all I did, okay, I went up to the whiteboard. I drew an earth on the whiteboard,
Uh-huh.
and then I posed as if I was carrying it.
You were what?
And that was it. And I got a perfect score.
Did you say
Okay, wait,
anything?
dude,
No,
dude.
You didn't say
Good
anything.
question, dude.
I
Dude,
didn't
here's
have
a
a
good
costume.
question.
I
Here's a
didn't have
good
a
question.
costume then
Okay?
or anything.
Dude, here's a good question. What is the most low effort project you've ever done, but you still got basically one of the highest scores in, if not perfect? The lowest effort. Okay, lowest effort.
Christian, no. What makes it better? I had another I had another character in mind. I was gonna do an acting bit, gane.
Yeah.
For a last minute, I remembered Atlas was a thing.
Last minute change of is this easier? Yeah.
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 And then after we had a pictorial then of everyone in their costumes and
And
stuff.
you're just in uniform.
You're just
I
like,
was in
yeah, what's
uniform.
up?
Suppose
Yo, what's
I drew like
up?
a globe on one whole paper.
Dude, what the fuck? That's
You
fucking
know.
great. Oh no! I have one. So probably it will relate to you probably the most. So you remember back in grade 7 where we had to read like Ibang Madarna, right?
Mm, kami din.
Yeah. Yeah. So and back in grade 7 we had to read Ibang Madarna. I'm not, I'm obviously not the best Tagalog speaker. So I read Ibang Madarna beforehand in English. So then when my teacher asked me about Ibong Madarna, right? I was like sleeping because I already knew the entire story by that point, right?
Flex.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm not kidding, dude. As long as it's in English, I can do it.
Hmm.
And then I knew the entire story. So my teacher, because I was sleeping, she got mad, obviously,
Yeah, yeah.
And then she's like, Christian, why aren't you reading the book, but in Tagalog, okay? And I'm just like, alam ko na ang story or something, something, Tagalog and but worse.
But
And
worse.
then the teacher was like, "Oh, he's lucky, huh?" And then she started asking me questions about the story, okay? And she asked me from like every chapter, and I got all of them right. And then afterwards, my teacher was like, Okay, you can go back to whatever you're doing. I'm like, thanks, miss. And then everyone just looks at me just like, what? No, and the best part is I said, Miss, can I answer this in Can I answer in English? Because so I can explain. And then she's like, fine, fine. Thankfully, right? So I answered in English, and everyone's just like, what the what the fuck, teacher? What's this? And then the only reply. Oh no, another one, right? R2. I was this. I think this was grade 10. I could be wrong. What was the one? El Philly, right? El Philly.
Yeah,
Yeah, so remember, like, I read the English version of Eliphilia as well, and we had to go through chapters because we were summarizing the chapters, right?
yeah.
So we all had to read one chapter of a thing, and then we had to give a summary about it, like a live vocal summary
Mm.
in Tagalog.
Mm.
So our teacher was nice, okay? She understood that I was really trying and stuff. So when I asked her if I could say it in English, because she knew I was having a hard time, she asked me, or I asked her if I could, and she gave me the okay. So I said everything in English. And then the teacher's like, Christian, if you could do this in English, you'd get the your high score. And I'm like, thanks, miss. You understand. Thank you, miss. And that's it. Like, we just suddenly nodded at each other, like, this boy knows, but he just can't.
You just can't, yeah.
He just can't do it that way.
Well, it's at least you got the gist of it. Like, at least you actually understood it.
No,
You were
yeah.
able to comprehend it, even if it was a different language.
Oh, dude,
And like
it was definitely because of the
the English book that you
English
read.
book.
Mm.
Oh, dude, it was like the cheat sheet of all cheat sheets, but not really because I had to put in the work of reading it. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude, like Ibong Adarna, I was just flexing on people, just like, you know what happens in chapter something something. Yeah,
No, so that's
you know,
the weird thing, right? Because like the whole thing was written poetically, right? Like each one was like
yeah,
verse and rhyme and poem. So like there's a lot to be interpreted.
yeah.
The lucky part was
No, wait, that's not Ibong, diba? Ibong was like a full. That's El Philly, right?
no
Because like there
Ibong
was a
Anana.
passage.
Ibong Anana
Was
was
it?
mostly poetic. Yeah, it was in paragraphs and stanzas and verses.
That's probably why I didn't get that part because I
Mm.
read it like a story.
And like that's the thing, right? Because like there was shit to be interpreted. I was able to
Yeah.
get my tutor to explain all that shit to me in advance as well, from the poetic standpoint. So when it came to
Yeah.
like final exams and shit, oh yeah, by the way, you have to like understand like, oh, what does each stanza and verse mean from this point of view and shit. And like I shit you not, even the fucking honor students were crowding around me to listen to that shit.
Bow down. Dude. Oh
Like
my
sure they
god,
read it,
dude.
but did they understand it?
Did they see they read it, right? But did they internalize it? Did they feel the emotions of the character in something? No, and
Uh,
like researching about the guy who wrote El Philly,
yeah.
Jose Rizal, it just bogged like it baffles me on the fact that he made he wrote the story in Spanish,
Mm.
right? So I thought to myself, so he wrote the story about dissing the Spanish in Spanish for Filipinos to read. But not
Yeah.
all Filipinos could get the education
To
to speak
understand
Spanish.
Spanish. Yeah.
And I was here like, really? 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 So he is our national hero. And then we have someone like, Pedro Palungsod. Is it Palungsod? No, no,
Kalungsod.
no,
He's
no.
a saint.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no, no, no. Andres Bonifacio, there it is. Andres Bonifacio, right? He led like the revolutionary thing. He made newspapers and
I
like
don't think he was
proper.
part of the newspaper thing. It was a result.
Was
Young.
it? I don't know. But all I know is like he actually did something to that respect. Like yeah, Jose Rizal, he's brave for posting that stuff. And like at the time, yeah, definitely. But like if you look at the logic behind it, he made a story about dissing the Spanish in Spanish for Filipinos to read, but the Filipinos didn't understand. Most Filipinos didn't understand because they weren't all original Spanish. I was like, really, really, really.
Bro, when you think
Really.
about it, like the people that he was reaching were the people who were in power. If you're rich enough to receive that kind
Yeah,
of education, then you had the money to do it, and you had
it
the
was because
independence and like pride to actually help try to make something for your country.
and Bonifacio credited like his actions like to Rizal, diba?
I don't
It was
know.
because of his writings na
What?
Yeah, I'm really bad with Filipino history in general. I probably got a,
Yeah, it
but
shows.
just that simple fact of, yeah, I made a book dissing Spanish people in Spanish.
And yeah, yeah, we get what you mean.
Just
Like
that,
like
yeah.
logically speaking, it don't make too much sense.
Yeah, I'm inside. Oh,
Shit.
did he shoot me? Oh my
he
god, they
did
all
shoot
followed me.
you.
We all jumped in the window. Why did everyone follow me?
I was the only one to take a different route. Oh my god.
Oh my
Well,
god.
but just as a notice, I'm not discrediting Jose Rizal's work. That mostly was confusing to me. Just that singular part. That
Okay.
we were reading a book of El Philly, and I was like,
Yeah.
amazing. But El Philly was actually in Spanish. It had to be translated to Tagalog, or else we would have had to learn Spanish to actually understand and discuss it. Like just that singular part, like really just. Ugh.
We're back to like the question from a few minutes ago. It was like what was their most low effort thing that you're able to get away with?
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was my grade 11 oral communications. I will always mention this. If anything, this was it. I was too damn lazy to write a speech. This is supposed to be our manuscript speech, which we're supposed to have a copy and read out loud when we present. And I was so damn lazy. We had about 2 weeks to prepare. Okay, we had two
Mm.
weeks to write our manuscript. I think it was 200 or 300 words. We had 3 whole weeks to prepare, and I just didn't do it until the last 30 fucking minutes before we had to submit it. So I was able to write down this 250 speech on the recognition of video games as a literary
Yeah.
medium. Yeah, there we go. The recognition of video games as a literary medium in storytelling. I was able to read that and pull it off, and then like we also had to orally recite it. So I was also able to get.
Yeah.
I think the total score was 40. I got 39, and that minus 1 point was just because I wasn't in costume. And like no, but like it technically was because they said okay, criteria is props and costume, and then most people would go into semi-formal. And I said, if my speech is about video games and shit, what if I wear a gaming outfit and it's literally just a Star
Yes.
Wars t-shirt? It's not even fucking games. It's just a nerd shirt.
You have glasses and stuff already, and it's
If
there.
only.
No, I think, dude, mine. If I had to answer that question, almost every time I speak in English class, just the low amount of effort that I put on that. Like, do you remember the long thing, right?
Yeah,
Where we had to like make PowerPoint presentations and we had to write
yeah,
like we each had a role when we presented it.
yeah.
So like when we were with our group, it's just like at the time, right? People were like really nervous and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, we have to memorize because
Mm.
criteria." So I like people were asking me, "Oh, Christian, what did you do?" And I showed them it was literally blank, and they're all like, "Wait, what? You're not Christian? Do
Good
you have
night.
a speech?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then they're like, "Wait, where is it?" I was like, "Ah, it's in my head," which makes me sound like a loony person, but like genuinely, I just thought about it. I'll just think about it on the fly.
Oh yeah, didn't we use Jason's dengue case to support our thing?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we're like,
Okay,
okay, we
so
think this project is very dear to our hearts because one of our own members is not able to come today for he had contracted the dengue virus. I was like, dude, that's how you get.
yes,
And
dude.
like, and
No,
like
and then
you can't throw
no.
shade at us too, because like He's part of the group. It's true, and so he's
It
technically
and
an
then
asset.
like it affected
Okay,
us.
he's technically an
No,
asset.
it affected us, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah,
affected us
yeah.
as well because like I had to. It was one of us. I think it was me. I had to do two parts because Jason wasn't
Yeah, yeah.
there,
You had
so I had to
to.
do double the
Yeah,
work.
yeah. And like, but that cemented it even more. How much of a difficulty it
Yeah,
is for our group.
yeah. So we were just like, oh yeah, YB, did you know Jason got dengue? He did?
Also, people got dengue.
No,
No, we
but
were
specifically
surprised.
last year, like in the middle of the school
I
year.
okay. Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I know we were close one last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that explains
Like
it.
I didn't like we only started like talking as friends more this year.
Oh,
Yung when I went to ano,
oh,
when I went to MCM.
Ah, okay. But
oh.
it was just perfect timing though.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect timing,
No,
dude.
it's just stars were aligning and stuff. No, dude, the best part about like speaking without having any script and just improving, like to me, the way every teacher looked at me, because they looked at me like I was brilliant, like prodigy English speaker, and they're all just like, oh yeah, that's my student. Like Miss I don't know, I forgot her name, Miss Diaz.
Hmm.
Like every time I spoke, like on the stage where other people could see me, she just like people pointed out that she just looked at me and she was just like, "Yes, yeah, that's my I taught that
That's
boy everything. Yep,
I thought that.
that's my student. That's my student." Like she just had that face of just like, "Yeah, this is my student. This is my student." And then people are like, "Christian, how do you do that?" And I'm like, "I don't fucking know. I don't even know how
I
to
don't
speak
fucking
Tagalog."
know. Uh,
It's a trade thing, be able to speak English right off the bat or be able to speak two languages, but need to work on it, like potato. It is good, dude. I like, dude, Miss Diaz, our English teacher, she was fun. Okay, like she
yeah,
lent
yeah.
me, she 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 was like, Christian, do you play video games? And I was like, yeah, I do. What do you have? And I was like, okay, I have a
Yeah,
PS4. And she's
she
like,
was giving us games, right. She
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
offering us
She
games.
let she was like, Do you wanna borrow The Last of Us remastered? And I was like,
Wow.
Yeah, cause her husband plays, right?
yeah, yeah,
Do you
yeah.
actually end up borrowing anything?
True.
No, because like I was like, if I don't give it back, I feel bad. And like, how many hours do I want to put into The Last of Us? Plus, it was like a horror game, which I am not fond of. If you guys watched the Darkwood thing that I did,
I think I
I'm a
borrowed
pussy.
Journey, if I remember
Did
correctly.
you?
I think I did. Yeah, I think I borrowed Journey.
The He's just a really cool English teacher. He
Right.
was really cool.
Great.
Uh,
Grade 10 was something else, man. Grade 10 was something
Grade 10
else.
was fun. Grade 10 was fun.
Good teachers.
And tragic, but it was very
Okay,
fun.
yeah, in different ways, sure. Yeah, I guess so. That was probably like the peak of drama, grade 10. Most annoying shit, I swear to God.
Probably drama's a bitch, people. Drama's a bitch. Avoid at all costs.
Avoid at all costs.
At all costs. Like if you don't need to start anything, don't start anything. No. Oh, oh.
Okay,
Why
Christian,
be?
yes,
Why be?
we don't need to hear your ever consistent moans.
Hey, okay, one taps. Okay, R2, you do.
If I want to,
YV, a
that was a
second
two
one,
tap.
YV. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, but I did one and then the other. Okay,
Mm.
and technically one.
Okay,
Because
so
I put
you
my.
guys want to add anything before we end it?
I mean, anything else to add? I thought this was supposed to be like a mini thing.
Yeah, it's kind of mini. I believe it's shorter than usual.
Yeah, dude, the last week it was like an hour.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just leave it at that. Like, if there's anything to gather from this, just fucking. If anyone in high school right now is hearing this, like, try to enjoy high school to your fullest, man. Because like those are years you're never getting back.
True.
All right then. End recording.